Are you ready to reveal your best skin yet? Look no further than Derma Laser Center, your premier destination for advanced aesthetic treatments. We understand that confidence starts with healthy, radiant skin, offering a wide range of services tailored to your unique needs. From laser hair removal to skin rejuvenation using state-of-the-art technology to help you achieve your skincare goals effectively and safely. Say goodbye to unwanted hair, stubborn acne, or age spots. With our personalized approach and proven results, we trust Derma Laser Center to deliver exceptional care and unparalleled results. Ready to take the first step towards glowing, flawless skin? Visit Derma Laser Center today and discover the difference for yourself. Schedule your consultation now. Call 845-47-DERMA. That's 845-473-3762. Or find us on the web at dermalasercenterny.com. Your journey to beautiful skin starts here.
My co-host Ashleigh McPherson. Hey. We're so excited to be here today.
I'm so excited.
We're talking entrepreneurs. I mean, I have to tell you, like, entrepreneurship has been a big part of my life. I love entrepreneurship. I've owned a few businesses, sold a couple businesses myself, and been doing marketing a long time for many entrepreneurs. And I have a real, deep bond with entrepreneurs. It's a tough job. It's a tough thing to do, but we have just the person to help entrepreneurs on the show today. Her name is Rachel McCord. So nice to meet you and see you. And she is the founder and CEO of Entrepreneur. Nice to meet you.
It is so nice to meet y'all. Thank you so much for having me on your show. I am such a big fan of all that you're doing, all your work. So thank you for including me. I'm super honored.
Oh, and we are too. Yeah, huge fans. You've done so much in your career, and I just can't wait to get into it. I don't think we're going to have enough time.
I know.
That's my fear here.
That's special. That when you come to New York, then we'll do another one, and then we'll get all the nitty gritty.
Yeah, I agree. So tell us about Entrepreneur. How did it get started? And really, what's the goal of your new business?
Yeah, thank you. So, I really dreamed of making a difference in the lives of people everywhere. When I first started my last company, the McCord List, I started it with so much self-doubt and fear, but I remember the very beginning, I was sitting on the floor of our 2-bedroom apartment. My husband was talking to me and he was like, Rach, if you could help 5 people who struggled with major depression, anxiety, panic attacks like you have, to keep them from giving up, would it be worth it? I was like, 5 people? Are you kidding me? Absolutely. I would do it again and again and again for them. And so that was kind of the heartbeat of building the McCord List. And it's how we built so many connections with so many influencers and brands. And what happened organically was Entrepreneur was birthed out of that. Because when you work with creators, celebrities, and influencers, you realize that we are really good at marketing, right? We can tell a story. We can get people excited and passionate. But if we don't put that on the foundation of a business model and a business plan that can really scale and take us to the next place, we don't get to do forever what we dream of doing. And so Entrepreneur is all about helping entrepreneurs, creators, influencers make money doing what they love.
Oh, I love that. And you know what? It's so needed. I feel like some of the platforms that are out there, monetizing them is challenging. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people, especially when they first start out, don't know how to monetize. So it's very important to do that. And this is so exciting. Congrats.
Thank you so much. It's been such an amazing journey, honestly. I'm super grateful. I think when you build something out of a desire to really fix a problem in the market and it's connected to your why, you just find a new rhythm. And I think with Entrepreneur, I've found that rhythm. I do a live every Monday at 9 a.m. Literally, like everyone who follows me, we have an app called Entrepreneur in all the app stores. And literally people are like, oh my gosh, this is like an espresso shot. And the funny thing is I don't even drink any caffeine, but I believe in helping people get off the sidelines, get unstuck, get motivated and moved into their businesses and their lives so that they can have everything they dream of. And it's just been amazing because I feel like I'm living my dream now.
Oh my God.
I love that. Like the whole espresso shot Monday morning. I love that. Honestly, that reminds me of Michelle here. She is the exact same way people say about her. You two would be a dream team.
Yes, Rachel, we gotta talk about camera. We have a lot to do.
I agree.
But I will say, it's interesting. You have such a vibrancy about you. You've accomplished so much, selling businesses at a young age. Can you talk to me about your past? And feel free to go deep into that because I know there's some things there that could help other people.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. So, I'll tell you what, I was really, I grew up in really humble beginnings in Georgia. We were a family of five living on less than $20,000 a year. And I just, life was so different for me at that stage. And to be honest, I felt really embarrassed because I was always praying the utilities wouldn't be shut off. I was afraid that we were going to lose our house. And I remember being a little kid and struggling with that a lot. And I thought that if I could just like kind of chase accolades and climb that invisible ladder of success, that I was going to heal that place in my heart. So when I was 13 years old, I started working. I started working in this Italian restaurant by a guy from who named it like after one of the bridges in New York, which is kind of funny. And I told him I want to learn everything there is to know about business because I wanted to be an integral part of the team. I wanted to learn. And so I started creating SOPs, so standard operating procedures, and creating systems to help their business scale. And then they started being able to open more and more restaurants. They offered me my own when I was 18 because I had been managing one of them since I was 16. And I was like, this is not what I want to do with my life. But I was really grateful for that season to be able to learn how to create scalable railways, right? Like you're kind of creating these little like tracks in the sand to build a business that can be replicated and duplicated. You can hire people and train them easily. And so I kind of took that with me, read over 1,000 self-help books, just started like hitting the ground, right? I was like, you're not going to outwork me because I'm going to start and at 6 a.m. and work until 10 p.m. Like I just was like a nut. And that's how I built my brand in LA. But there was a point in my life when I realized that I was running from something. I wasn't really running to something. And I think a lot of it came crashing down when my sister, who's an actress, decided to just start airing all of our dirty laundry in like the cover of Cosmopolitan magazine and in all the press. And I'm like, Annalyn, Dr. Phil is not your actual doctor. Like, stop telling him everything about our lives. So it was really funny. We have a really hilarious like inside joke that's not so inside because everybody knows about it. But there got to be a part where I was like, you know what? Like there's got to be more to all of this. And I realized that all of that fear and all that shame that I felt was actually connected to trauma that didn't fit me anymore. And I believe that people will kind of get into you, but it's up to you to keep them in you or out of you. And so like if you've been through stuff in your life, you've got to make that conscious decision. And sometimes it's a conscious decision every minute, every hour, every day until you can start to really move on. But you have to choose to get that out of you so that you can get unstuck, so you can get activated and you can live the life that you were created to live. And a lot of people sit on the sidelines because they're afraid, because they face haters, they face the trolls and all of that like noise that says you're not enough, you're not good enough, you don't matter enough. And I just believe that we've got to band together and create a new standard. We got to do something different. And so I stopped running from my past. I started listening to my heart. I launched the McCord List with this desire to be sassy self-help. We run it for over 10 years and we've done some really exciting partnerships along the way. And then getting to do Entrepreneur now and finding myself having to be better as a founder and to understand where roles shift and evolve. I'm the executive producer and host of the show Female Founders on Bloomberg Television now. So I get to sit down with these amazing women like yourselves and talk about their businesses and how they've done what they do. And I think it's just really exciting for me to be able to sit in these rooms with people because I'm learning things and I'm sharing things that tell someone else, you can do this too. I think that's the whole heartbeat, right? There are people on the other side of every one of our shows, your podcast, of these conversations, these social media posts who need desperately to hear the empowerment, the encouragement and activation that we have here. And so I think being able to share that is so powerful.
Oh, I totally agree. And I just love your positivity. I love, you've done so much, like I said, so Female Founders, can you talk to us about that? I know that show has been huge for you on Bloomberg, such a success. Who are some of the people you've interviewed and what's been some of your iconic moments while on the show?
Oh, what a fun question. So one of my favorite moments is when Leah Wald came on the show. She had literally just rang the bell upstairs to go public with her business. Yeah. She went out on the street and got to see herself on the wall because when you have this big momentous moment at NASDAQ, they'll put you on the building in Times Square. And so she did that. And then she came right into my studio and I got to interview her. And it's so exciting because I think we live in a time right now where you can access information, content, training, coaching that can transform your lives and your businesses. And so when we realize that and we take advantage of what's out there, it's so exciting because you're not limited by your past thinking. And I'm a firm believer that you're not going to get out of your problem with the same thinking that got you into it. So we have to do our part to work really hard and make sure that we are challenging ourselves in that way and we're doing more. And so getting to do that was really exciting. Also had Kristen Cavallari to talk about Uncommonly James and how she's been able to build that business with owning 100% of equity, which was really inspiring to me as a bootstrap founder. I've never taken funding myself either. So it was really exciting to hear her story. And then one of the biggest moments probably in my career so far, my producer told me that at this certain day on a certain time, my picture was going to be up on the NASDAQ building. And you guys, like, I was literally like, okay, I mean, thank you. But like in my little girl thinking, I was like, there's no way though. Like something's going to happen. Like something's going to come up and that's not going to happen. So like, I don't know. So I didn't really believe it enough to really grab it. So I didn't even tell anybody it was going to happen. And there was a point when I'm down on the street and we're looking up and they're like marking me for cameras. Like, okay, when it goes here, we're going to do this because it's a part of our intro for season 1 and season 2. And I'm like, wait, this is actually happening. Like I had this like real moment where I was like, oh my gosh. So then I'm like FaceTiming my mom and one of my best friends, like, I'm about to do that. Well, it's so crazy and so fun. So I think there are some moments along the way that have been so exciting. Personally, I'm really grateful that I haven't started taking it too seriously. Do you know what I mean? Like we have some incredible people coming on the show for season 2 that I can't even believe it. Like pinch me moments for real. Definitely names that everyone knows. And I think when I just stay connected to the 5 people that I started out for, it just kind of changes everything. I just joined this amazing organization called Hope for the City to help 30,000 kids have Christmas this year, you guys.
Oh my God, that was really fun. Is it based out of LA or New York?
It's actually based out of Vegas, if you would believe it. So we bought a house in Vegas. I'm a mom. I have a little 3-year-old boy named Jude. And so being able to connect with this story, this message, which is something that I personally relate to as a little girl who my family, we would like literally draw one name at Christmas and everyone would buy one gift from the dollar store. Like that was my Christmas. And so I connect to what these amazing families are dealing with. And so getting to be involved is so exciting. But, you know, I'm speaking at this like massive church on Wednesday to get more donations. And every time I get nervous, I'm like, Rachel, you're making it about you. It's not about you. It's about the 5 people. It's about the children. So I think just keeping that in touch has been really helpful for me.
Oh, I love that.
That's great.
So much. Congrats to you. And thank you for helping the community. I mean, that's so important. I feel like you're so right. Like, you know, people that help their community tend to do so much better because they give back. Mm-hmm. It's like the one thing that like keeps you going and makes you accomplish. The whole point of doing well and being successful is to give back, right?
Yeah.
To help other people and that next generation for sure. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, Rachel, you're so inspiring. I'm so excited for you. You know, you mentioned your sister, right? And you talked about her and what is your relationship like and how are you guys? I know she's a hustler too.
Yeah, she's a trip. I mean, she just got back from Egypt. So, you know, I'm like, girl, you're like strengthening my faith because I've just got to keep praying like all the time. This girl's always doing something. But no, it's good. You know, I'm the youngest of 3 girls and like we have had all the sister experiences that every sister would understand. The only difference is that it's been definitely under the spotlight of entertainment and the pressure of paparazzi stalking your house and knowing that things that you say get around and happen. And so it's definitely been a journey for sure. I mean, we've definitely had moments where I'm like, okay, like, are we for real right now? So you know, I have to kind of balance it. But no, we have an awesome relationship. Our joke is that we can't spend more than 3 days together because switching, you know what I mean? It's like the true family mode. But no, I mean, I think with sisters in general, you can't help but be close and just know that like, you know, you're meant to be together and you just gotta like, whatever comes at you, you gotta figure it out.
Absolutely. Now that's a sisterhood right there for sure. You also talked about your son, Jude. What a cute name.
I know. I thought that's actually so weird. I thought the same thing when she said that.
I did too. And
it's so funny.
And Jude is actually, well, it's not common really anymore. I don't know if it ever was, but you know, I've definitely heard the name many times, but I feel like it's uncommon still. And it's a beautiful name. Wow. I love it. It's powerful. It really is. Well, how'd you think of the name?
Honestly, my husband was like, I always thought that name would be great for a little boy. When I got pregnant, I just knew that if he was a boy, we wanted to name him Jude. And we kind of do a little play because my husband is Richard James. And so Jude is Richard Jude. And so they have the same initials and everything. But I mean, to be honest, I was literally praying over my little bug one night and I was like pregnant and, sick as a dog. I had hyperemesis. I gave birth during the pandemic. So it was like the lockdowns ended on May 15th for the first round in LA. And I was in the hospital getting induced on May 17th. So you can understand it was just like such a crazy time. Everyone's afraid and no one knows what's going on. And I literally was like, I need some encouragement. So I opened up my Bible and you guys, I'm like reading it and I was like, this is not what I was thinking. I was thinking I was going to see something about like angels coming out of heaven. And then I on the left-hand side and like in big letters is Jude. And it's like the smallest chapter in the Bible. I had opened it to that place and I was like, okay, chills, because I had told everyone, I feel like he's a boy. And if he's a boy, we're going to name him Jude. We never picked a girl's name. And this was before I was even technically confirmed that it was a boy. So it was just like that, like triple, like, whoa, like I felt really seen in that moment. It was really special.
I actually did get chilly. You still have it. I can see it. Oh my God. Oh my God, that's so cool. So what's it like balancing work life? I know you're so successful doing so much and being a mom.
Oh my gosh, mama. I don't think that balance is such a thing. I think the best thing you can do is have grace. Like I literally have the Hebrew listed on my giving arm. Like I think it's about grace for yourself, grace for the inevitable ups and downs that this life gives you, because it's really such a challenge sometimes. But I think if you hold on to what you're doing and why you're doing it, I will tell you as a mom, that's honestly, I think why I decided to shift my roles around and really launch Entrepreneur, because I knew I needed something for me, but I also knew that if I wasn't fully like hard on with what I was meant to do, it wasn't going to be worth it to me to spend that time away from my son. And so when I got really specific about the time I wanted to spend, it changed everything. And we built this entire program for creators. We call it our creator incubator. And I have a lot of moms and their single moms paying their bills by building this directory with us to help other creators and other brands matchmake. And I think what's really happened is I just really been able to cut out nonsense. Do you know what I'm saying? Like so many people spend so much time being busy, but not being busy with their business. And so I'm all about like making sure that you're actually taking those nuggets for yourself. You're focusing in on them and you're really tapping into what matters with you. I know that a lot of women, when they become moms, and I'm sure dads as well, I haven't personally experienced this, but when you become a parent, everything shifts because you realize they're only little for such a time. They're only with you for such a time, and you have to be a good steward of that. And you want to build them up in a way that's going to help them have the best possible life. And I think from how I grew up, I didn't really have a footprint or a blueprint that I wanted to follow in, but I knew that I was going to tackle it differently than most people that I know. I know that I want to teach my son generosity, and I want to teach him integrity and honesty. And I want to teach him the foundation of faith so that he conquers fear. And I think that like when you start tapping into what you really want to teach and what you really, because you're raising an adult, not a child, then you start to realize that everything works together for good. So you just got to take those moments and those learnings and shake it off. I remember the first time when he was like a little baby, his nails got a little long and he scratched his face. And it was like the first thing on this perfect little cherub angel baby. And I was like crying. I'm so postpartum. I'm anxious. I'm nervous, all the things. I'm like, and it was just, it's so funny because you look back at those times and you realize like as mamas, we have to have grace. And I think that it's taught me a lot of grace and a lot of prayer for the world, because I think about it like this is the planet I'm leading him with. I want to make sure that I'm instilling work ethic that I learned because I didn't have another choice. He has another option, right? He could just be that kid like, oh, mom made me a trust fund. But I need to instill in him that power, that work ethic, that belief in his dreams that no matter what he wants, he can actually create that. So I think the pressure is on, but it's just a balance of saying like right now, I'm going to fully immerse myself into this. And then I'm going to shut that off and be the best person I can be in this moment. And then listen to your heart when you feel like something's out of sync. I'm spending too much time somewhere and I'm not being able to bring the best to myself too, right? Like that's my thing I always forget. I'm like, okay, mom, wife, faith, girl. Oh, wait, yeah. And I have a business. And oh my gosh, like, wait, hold on. I have me. So I think learning that has been definitely a journey.
Absolutely. And you know what? You do so much, but you do it with grace. You know, we see you out there preaching your faith, and that's a huge thing to do. And then with your 3-year-old, and then out there, you know, with the business, and be with all of that being said, you know, how do you focus? You said for entrepreneurs and others, you focus on little nuggets. And what are those nuggets for your business, for Launchpreneur?
Yeah, so great question. I would say, first of all, it's like I try to tackle those things that hold us back. So I have a course in my app. It's the 5 things holding you back. And we just kind of walk you through what they are. And the first one is done is better than perfect. It's the best learning I've ever had, right? As a business owner, like realizing that there's that balance between like perfecting something and then seeking perfection, right? Like if you're preparing a sponsorship deck or a media kit to pitch more sponsors, more brands, you don't want to just be like, oh, you know what, done's better than perfect, and then just send things out with typos, like run it through Grammarly, you know, but at the same time, like challenge it to be like, okay, am I just obsessing about this because I'm afraid to hit send? I'm afraid because it's not good enough, because fear can paralyze us. And so I believe that's really important. The second thing is like creating consistency in whatever you're doing. So don't give up. You need to keep moving. And the third thing is have a really strong business model underneath your passion. Like you don't want to get far away from your passion, but you also need to stand firm on a business model. So I think a lot of times as creatives and artists, we get so like intoxicated by the art that we sometimes forget that you've got to have your nuts and bolts together. And you don't have to do that all. You could work with someone who does that and helps you with that, but you need to make sure that you've got that marriage, because otherwise it's not going to be able to sustain itself. And you're going to find yourself sleeping on someone's couch, like, oh my goodness, where'd I go wrong? And then that just kind of puts you in that spiral of like, oh, I failed. Whereas like, it's just as simple as like having a business model to make money. And I don't think that people feel as comfortable saying that. People get all weird and taboo around money. It's like, it's not that freaky. It's like you have an art, you have a gift, a passion, a purpose. There's a value to that. You need to know your value. You need to be able to clearly define what that value is. And then you need to be in the right room with people who value that value and will put money behind it.
Exactly. 100%. Like you said, a business plan behind it. And it's so important. And I'm so glad that you're talking about that, because content creators, influencers, yes, they know how to monetize maybe because of a click of a button on TikTok or Instagram, but that's not even half of what they could do, not even a quarter. So, you know, having the plan behind it is what makes it. Having a business plan or marketing plan is what gets everyone and anyone who's been successful. And, you know, it is. I mean, even if a video goes viral, more often than not, that person's thought out something in their mind that's been a plan. Maybe it's not, you know, it's etched in stone, but it's not like they just sat there and pressed play. They had to think through it to do something, you know? And it's like, you know, I think we feature a lot of content creators, influencers, and celebrities on this show. And we talk to so many people who've had epic moments, viral videos, all those things. And most of the time, it's something that was planned or thought, or it's not the video they thought would go viral, but their intent was to go viral. And this was how they were going to do.
And then they created that video and they knew how to make a company out of that or a brand out of that. Right. I think that's such a start with influencers. When I started, I had no clue like how you can even make money off of like a video. There's no one out there who's really telling you how to do that.
Now there is.
And now there is, yeah. Literally.
It's a business girl. And started in the restaurant industry. I had the same, very similar background, humble beginnings. Italian restaurant. Me and you have to get together. I'm taking you out for dinner, girl. But very similar background. And that restaurant did teach me everything I needed to know about business and people. And at the end of the day, those relationships, and when they align, you end up in a whole different ballgame, sitting in front of the people that are going to fund your creative process. You said it. You said so many valuable things in the last 20 minutes. I like wish we could take an episode on each one of them. Truthfully. So, you know, if you're an entrepreneur and you're looking to launch, make sure you check out Rachel McCord, Launchpreneur. Is there anything you'd like to tell everybody, Rachel, about Launchpreneur that you think stands out to really help cultivate their new business or their new platform for content creators or influencers?
I think, you know, it's going to come down to you having this passion within you that needs to be birthed. And I think you've got to be willing to level up your game. So many times, like I just did a course today about helping people build a list, because, you know, you think about it, like you've got all this great content, all this great stuff, but if you're dependent on algorithms to really move the needle for your business, to click that affiliate deal, and then your algorithms change and your video viewership changes, then suddenly your monthly revenue goes down. So I would say you've got to tie into your passion, but you also need to create reoccurring money, because if you can create reoccurring business models around you, that's something that investors invest in, because it's an ATM business. That's why we created this directory where we partnered up with Launch Viral, which is basically our sister company. It's a big marketing agency. My husband really pioneered influencer marketing back in 2002. And so he's worked on Harry Potter, Chronicles of Narnia, Whole Foods, Walmart, you name it. So we kind of came together. All of a sudden you start seeing the case studies go with like a Kylie Jenner campaign, beauty, skinny girl. And then you know that's when I got involved and was like, I want to do this. And so we started doing it. But we
very successful family, my friend.
Thank you. You're so sweet. But, you know, we built this directory where we let influencers get the best. Think of like Groupon for influencers, where you can go have the best restaurants, experiences, staycations, trips, all the things, and you get access to all of it. But we actually built in something that's new where we help influencers send brand sponsors our way. So a lot of influencers will get one brand sponsor and then they like eat for a couple months and then they get another brand sponsor and they're always chasing it. So we're like, hey, why don't we help you build something where you can make $50 every single month for every brand that locks into our directory? And so we have people like, there's a single mom in New York with 3 boys. And she's like, Rach, I'm on my way. I'm going to do $100,000 a month by onboarding 2,000 brands in the next 6 months. So we're literally helping them figure out this infrastructure. And that's why I say, like, you don't need to do everything. You don't need to crush everything, but you do need to know your business really well. You need to be tapped into your passion so that you can put the right people around you to build infrastructure to help you scale and grow.
Absolutely. Oh my God. Rachel McCord, let's give it up. Thank you for joining us today, Rachel. Thank you so very much. I wish you nothing but the best. Go kill it out there. We're here supporting you, cheering you on. We love your posts, your content, and Launchpreneur. Check it out. Where can people find you at Launchpreneur?
Yeah, you can just download our app on the App Store at Launchpreneur. It's super easy. It's like Launchpreneur. And I'm on social media at I am Rachel McCord.
All right. Make sure you check her out. I'm Michelle Barone. You can find me at Michelle Barone online. And Ashleigh?
I'm Ashleigh McPherson. You guys can find me at Ashleigh McPherson on all socials.
Thank you so much, Rachel. We have to do dinner. All right. Me and you. The 3 of us. The 3 of us. We love you, Rachel. Thank you so much.
247 Paps Official, Positive Paparazzi, Whitney Houston. My moment with Whitney Houston. I went to the airport. I was like, they were like, yo, Caesar, cover Whitney Houston. I was like, all right, you know, at the time, Whitney Houston wasn't that big because she was going through all the stuff with Bobby Brown and all that. And Bobby Brown did his own thing and they just separated. So they're like, cover Whitney Houston. I'm like, all right, went to the airport with my friend, got Whitney. Whitney, she was one of the nicest people in the world, but she was talking so fast. She's like, how you doing, baby? What's going on, baby? How's everything, baby? And everything was baby, right? I was just like, hey, Whitney, what's going on? How's everything? I'm doing good, baby. How you doing today? But she was sweating. I just remember sweat. She was just sweating a lot. And I was just like, oh my God, like, something's up with her, But she got in the car and everything like that. And that was actually the last time I saw her, coming out of the airport, in LaGuardia Airport. But I just remember she could look at me in my eye. You could tell she was going through it, but everything was baby, baby, what's up? And then, she left, and then I want to say about 4 months later, she passed away. That same year, the last video I got of her, she passed away that same year.